Pound USD, we start with the daily chart. Okay, as we can see, based on the daily chart, we have been within this correction for the quite time, long time. And what we were expecting, we are more interested, and we are expecting the price to drop, and we are more interested in the sell. Because in terms of the risk and reward, it can give us a better trade setup, really good trade setup, okay? And even if we put this one in relative to this, and this move, as we can see, if we refer to the MACD, we have a divergence from here in relative to this, and especially here and to, if you put this one in relative to this, and we see this losing the momentum. And even if we refer to this indicator, we can see, okay, as we can see, the price is moving higher and higher. We can see the divergence and more, and is losing the momentum. That's why what we are more interested, if we get the sell, we are in terms of the risk and reward, can give us a very good trade. Okay, now the question is how high this one can go and how long we will be within this correction. This one is based on the long-term trade, and every time we explain, okay? And now the thing is, what we want based on lower time frame, if we get any sell setup, we take it, and from there we see whether the price can drop to this trend line and can break or not, okay? But this one is based on long-term trade setup. How long we will be, again, will be within this correction, we are not sure, okay? And is there any possibility we won't get the down move? Yeah, the possibility is there. That's why I explain, if we get the sell setup based on the information we have it, in terms of the risk and reward, we can give us a better trade setup. And also, no, if we get a sell setup, we need to see that this down move we get, we need to see whether we will get similar to what we have here. That means we can get a bigger correction for the continuation, or this is the start of the down move. Okay, the one we can explain later, but not what we are more interested. We are more interested in the down move. Okay, in this case, we move to lower time frame. We see how we can trade based on lower time frame. Okay, based on forward chart, if you refer back to my last 2 weeks analysis, when the price was here, we expect the price can drop based on this one. Then we mentioned this correction is finished, and this is what we were expecting. Okay, now we don't need this trend line anymore. We remove it. Okay, now the question is, for the next week, what we will get from here? Whether we can expect the price to drop, or we get a big correction for the next move up before drop. Okay, in this case, we put our line here. As we can see, the price break this top. Okay, price break this top. And if we compare this one in relative to this and this one in relative to this, if we move to the MACD, we will see we have a divergence, and this one we have a divergence. And how about here? Similar. This one in relative to this one in relative to this, we have a divergence. Okay, now based on what I mentioned right now, based on those information, the divergence, can we say, conclude this is the start of the down move? That means next week, if we get any correction here, we can sell. Okay, and another option, this is the fair one of the option. And if we sell, now the question is, if we get any correction, we sell. When the price come to this level, we need to see, because may we get the bigger correction before the next up move or the price drop. That means for the next week, if we get any correction, we sell it, and when the price come to this level, we need to start to manage it. Whether the price can come to this level or not, we are not sure, because right now, based on this one, there is a possibility the price come to this level, reverse, we will have a bigger correction, or also may this one is a different, and this is the start of the down move. We get the correction, price break this this low, come to this trend line, then we need to see whether it can break or not. Okay, anyway, based on what we explained right now, what we want to see, if we get any correction from here for the next week, we will look for sell. When the price come to this level, we need to start to manage it. We see what we will get. The another option is that this is the correction, and in relative to this, that means still from here we get one move up before we get the down move. Okay, that means next week we want to see what we will get here, whether we get the correction for the down move or we get the buy setup. Okay, in this case, we move to lower time frame. We see how we can trade it. Okay. Again, based on the first option, okay, again, if we put this one to in relative to each other, based on 1 hour chart, this top in relative to this, based on MACD, again, based on 1 hour chart, we have a time frame. And based on this one, also we have a time frame. That's why based on this information, that's why based on the forward chart, we mentioned that if we get any correction from here, we can look for sell. That means the first option is next week. If we get a correction here, prices start to go correct, any sell setup we get, we'll take it. And that means we look for sell. And if we get a sell setup, as long as the price come to this level, or may I put this one, come to this level, we start to manage. Why? Because I explained me, we get the big correction. That means the price come to this level and reverse. Okay, what I want to say, if we get the sell, the price come to this level, we see whether there is a continuation in it or not. That means we start to manage at least move or stop loss to break even. If there is a continuation, came to this trend line, then from there we can see whether it can break the trend line or not. Okay, anyway, if we get a correction from there and here next week, when the price come to this level, we start to manage it. Okay, this is the one option, the first option. And because of the divergence, all those things, how we can look for sell. And the second option is that may we will have this correction relative to this, and there is a possibility the price will get one move up before we get the down move. Okay, in that case, if we want to look for, but that's mean we need to look for buy. That's mean next week, if we get any sharp move correction, we can look for up move. Okay, that means we will have both option, and all it depends what we will get here for the next week. That's why we need to wait for the next week. If we get a correction, we sell, and when the price come here, start to manage. But if we didn't the correction, if we didn't get the correction, we get any sharp move, a small flag, we can look for buy. At that time, we will look into this correction. That's mean we expect the price one move up before we get the down move. Okay, anyway, we don't have any trade setup. All depends on what we will get from here next week. And when the market open, we look into that. Then from there, we make a decision how we can trade, whether we should look for buy or sell. In this case, we just follow the chart. Next week, if I see any update, then I will share on YouTube or any trade setup. Thanks.